Hello and welcome back to the Design Hub podcast. I'm Molly and today I'm joined with Rob Marchant, founder of MarchantCain. Thank you for coming, Rob. I'm very happy to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thanks, Molly.
So the first question I ask everyone is, how did you get started in this industry? What was the catalyst?
Um, Catalyst was money or lack of. So I had to have a job. I had a choice of going into being a mechanic or being a town planner. I chose to be a mechanic, and that's then sort of bred a lifetime of automotive engineering. And then I was working for a very large automotive OEM, and I got fed up with it and decided to start my own business because I only wanted to work 2 days a week, and that didn't work out well. So here I am working far more hours than I care to admit to.
And did you always see yourself going into the automotive industry? Was there a route from being a mechanic to where you are now? Was it very straightforward?
No. So I worked as a mechanic I left school at 15 with no qualifications, and I worked my way through in various countries, back to the UK, and then I worked my way up through various levels within the retail side of things and dealerships in the UK. And I got to a point where I couldn't earn any more money. I was stuck on a level that just couldn't go. So I started to study with the Open University to gain a degree, which I hope would give me a step up. Various things happened which made that studying very difficult. So I quit my job. Uh, at the time, I had a wife, a child, a cat, and a house with a mortgage, and I went to university full time. I was one of the last people to get a full adult grant, which paid me almost as much as I was earning as a mechanic, which was deflating in lots of ways. Um, and then I went to Coventry University, where I studied for a degree in automotive engineering design. Then I did a master's degree. Then I started a PhD, which I never finished. And that was the basis of psychology and engineering and understanding how people work.
Okay.
So it took a long time to get that progress through. Um, then I worked as part of my year out. I got a job with a very large German um, first year supplier called Brosa in Coventry. And that's how I started my working career from a professional point of view.
And I know you said that money was a big motivator and also working 2 days a week. That is the dream. But what inspired you to make your company now, MarchantCain? Was it anything linking with people in engineering, or
Um,
where did it kind of
yeah,
come from?
there was that. Like I said, the idea was that I wanted to do maximize income and minimize effort, and it sort of worked for a while, a couple of years, and I was doing some consultancy, and it was working well and doing what I needed to do. And then a company that I had worked for um, gave my name to Porsche, and Porsche came to us. By that time, I had two engineers working for me,
Mm,
and they came to us and said, "Could you make some parts for the Porsche 918 Spider?" At
wow.
that point, they sent five people to audit five people, sat in an office no bigger than my office today. Um, and the lead guy who walked in said, "So, Mr. Marchant, where are you going to make our parts?" So I said, "You don't have to worry about that. We'll do that. It's not a problem." He said, "You have to have ISO 9001 as a minimum." Yeah, I'll get that as well. Don't worry about that. So we signed the contracts. They paid us some money. We did the design,
Mm,
and we delivered the parts within 3 months. But the point of the story, that story is that kicked off this relationship with niche vehicles and people not being able, those sort of companies not being able to access companies that like Brose or Bosch or somebody like that to make parts for them that are complicated because they don't want it because it doesn't fit within their business model. So I
Mm.
built a business model based around niche vehicles, niche companies, both automotive and non-automotive. But the key factor is whatever we do has to move and it has to be interesting.
So is that how you is that what started off the whole bespoke parts for the
Yeah.
mechanical engineering side? Do you incorporate anything else apart from mechanical engineering in it?
Well, we have electronics and electronic motors and all sorts of different things. The principal element is complexity. That's what
Mm.
we like. And the reason we want to go down that complexity route is simply because if it's standard, then anybody can do it. But
Yeah.
what we have is relationships with motor manufacturers all over the world, from very small, little, tiny, uh, rare earth ones, right the way through to quite big things that allow us to move their components in the way that they want them to be moved. And that's the niche. That's the bit that we do. We're doing other things. We've done railway bridge enhancements. We've done we did some built some Ferraris for the film Rush.
Oh wow.
Uh, um, we're in the middle of building or designing and manufacturing a device for horse riders to protect them from horses falling on them. Um, so there's quite a few drifts and things that we do, but we don't want to be seen as standard or a commodity provider. That's not what we do.
And seeing as you work in well, as you just said, you work with a lot of things from Ferraris to horse racing and bridge building. Um, the process in which you start that and someone gives you a problem, does it all look the same to a certain point? Does it look all the same the whole way through? How do you kind of navigate the whole differences?
So the first thing that we do is try to understand the customer,
Hmm.
and in particular where you're dealing with customers who are startups, um, you have to grasp where their budget is,
Yeah.
where their money's coming from,
Hmm.
and how much are they willing to spend because we don't do it for nothing.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't really um, set their budgetary constraints, especially car manufacturers. I was talking to one the other day, who was making a hypercar, and he's the people who are giving him his money is found is basic funders basically. Um, were absolutely astonished that he was burning £3 million a month,
3 million.
and he was going to step that up. And he was preparing them to in 4 or 5 months later to step that up to 7 million,
Oh my
and then
God.
at launch it would hit somewhere about 11 million a month.
Oh my.
And that's what people don't realize, the costs and expense of actually designing, developing, and manufacturing a car.
Hmm.
The big difference that's happened recently is the advent of electric cars.
Okay.
And that sort of leveled the playing field a lot with people. So you have people like Rimac in uh, Croatia who have developed a platform which gives you motors, batteries, battery control modules, and a varying power output that you can then just build a body on.
Okay.
And that's quite a big step in the right direction. They sell their technology to lots of different people, including Porsche. Um, And then the second part of that is the advent of additive manufacturing, 3D printing.
Mm.
And there's a company in the United States called, actually a customer of ours. They're making the first 3D printed hypercar. Well, it's actually in production now, so it's on the road.
So what is
Um,
a hypercar?
hypercar is a car that is capable of 200 miles an hour plus, and generally costs more than 2 million.
So not some either driving around a country road. Got it.
No,
Okay.
they're rare vehicles.
Okay, that's interesting. Um, and what are some of the biggest challenges you would say that you've faced, whether or not they're something you might come across on a daily basis or
Mm.
throughout your entire career?
Um, the biggest problems you face with engineering is gravity and friction,
Ah,
and
most things.
and the issue that you face with some of our customers, like Porsche, for instance, they're very challenging. And what we do is we categorize our projects into four different categories.
Okay.
Um, the first category we call paint by numbers. Paint by numbers is we've done it before, the customer's done it before, we know what it is, and we can do it in our sleep. So it's very, very simple. Then there's one above that, which is called movies, which is about a customer who probably is not as stable as Porsche, but sort of knows what they're doing. But we definitely know what we're doing, and
Okay.
therefore the risk is low. Then if you go to the right of that, so you've got two axes. One is customer stability or risk, and the other one is technological risk. And then you come across this way where nobody's done anything. And the technology is more difficult, challenging, and so on. But the customer's known and capable. So people like Porsche. And then the top right-hand quadrant is called fog, where we've never done it before, our customers have never done it before, and nobody else has done it before.
So you're just
And
kind of moving.
that bit there is the very difficult part because you're trying to work with people who generally want to move quite fast,
Mm.
but maybe not have the budget. So they can be pulled in that direction, or they're technologically very much on the edge. And things like speed and load moving and how they want things to move. So for instance, we're doing a project right now for a very, very prestigious car company. Um, and they want something to come up between the seats. It's only a two-seater car. It's got no roof, but they want this thing to emerge out of between the seats, out of the upholstery to look like a set of wings, but it's actually a net that stops the air blowing back into the car and ruffling your hair. I don't have that problem, but a lot of other people do. So it halves the wind speed coming entering back into the vehicle. But to have this thing unfold as it
Mm.
comes up and then unfolds is technically quite difficult to do.
I can
And then
imagine.
refold it all back again and go back into a very small package and close the hole up and open the hole up. There's a whole lot of things with it that are technically difficult to do.
And that's something that would come under fog.
That will come under probably movies, probably in that side. It's not that technically difficult. The
Mm.
technical difficulty is actually folding the net and making sure the net folds. It's a mesh, like you get on the back of your
Oh
chair.
yeah.
It's actually folding that up every time in the same way.
Oh, I'm guessing mesh is not something that folds up the same way every time.
Uh, yeah, and they don't want any creases in it either, so it's quite a difficult topic.
Special kind of mesh, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. We're still waiting for the mesh to arrive. Um, so I did a similar project with Aston Martin to fold the roof in the car,
Okay.
um, and not get creases in the headliner. So when you look up with the roof closed, there's a Alcantara leather roof liner,
Wow.
and if you crush it too much, you get a mark in the leather.
Ah,
So they wanted to crush it but not get the marks. So quite a lot of work on that.
and I've also noticed that your company puts a bit of an emphasis on staff development.
We
Um,
try.
I was wondering how that kind of shapes the culture of it.
It's a difficult one because um, a lot of the people that we have are young, and
Mm.
they're young for a reason. They don't bring baggage, so that gives a different culture. Training can also be difficult because we're a small company. We can be seen to be agile, but the problem is with being too agile is you miss steps out. And
Yeah.
although those steps seem to be tedious, they're necessary. And especially when you're dealing with the larger companies of BMW and the like, expect to see things in a particular sequence,
Mm.
and they get missed. And that's part of that cultural bit where we need um, people with experience at the top looking and making sure that things are happening below. So my managing director who runs MarchantCain, I don't run it anymore. He runs it. He's a Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and his whole ethos is about process and data and knowledge. So he's very much an emotional vacuum. He only goes and does things by numbers.
Right. And do you think incorporating more younger people has brought perhaps a fresh perspective? Do you think it's good to have that kind of incorporation in it?
From a creative point of view, it definitely has a bonus.
Mm.
Um, the the temper you have to put into it is the fact that a lot of the things we do um, are limited, and a lot of them are limited by, particularly by money and budgets. So
Yeah.
focusing people away from, I can make this out of the most wonderful thing in the world, and it's going to do a lot and be made out of super duper material that you can't get, or you know, and the reality is it has to be made out of cheap putty that we can buy from somewhere down the road who
Yeah.
it just works. So there's the balancing act between those two, and the commercialization of things doesn't feature in much academic work. So
Mm.
commercialization of product, when it comes to engineering, focus on engineering, costs go through the roof, and then all of a sudden we can't afford to do what we said we were going to do, and the customer won't pay for it. So where do we go? I can't make a loss. So trying to manage the expectation of, oh, we're going to be working for Ferrari. Yeah, great. But Ferrari watch every cent. In fact, they'll
Yeah.
watch every millicent of things. They are detailed to beyond belief, and a fabulous company to work with, but not
Very focused on the money.
everybody's focused on money. You have to
That
be,
is
and
true.
that's the bit that everybody misses, unfortunately.
Oh,
And it's very frustrating. But yeah, that's why I'm here to, and my commercial people who sit in Germany, they look after all of that stuff.
and on the flip side, from challenges, is there a particular key moment that stands out to you throughout, once again, throughout your career, throughout the development of your company, um, that like makes you really proud?
It's a difficult one.
I'm sure there's many.
Uh, yes and no. I don't know. I don't feel I need to be proud. I get excited about winning a contract.
Okay.
Um, not necessarily about the engineering anymore. We've got a big map on the wall over there, which shows the world and where we've made all these cars, and the bits of the cars are on the map. And my managing director has just finished buying this thing and putting it up, and he said to me the other day, he said, "See, look, you should be proud of this. You've done all this. You've made this happen." And I said, well, yeah, it's all right, but where's the money?
How many dots roughly do you reckon are on that world map?
I can't tell you, to be honest. But they're all the little cars, the little matchbox car type things. He bought them all, and they're all up there. If they haven't got one because it's not ready yet, like we're making there's a Danish hypercar coming called Zenvo Aurora. So
Wow.
we got the picture and the box, and we're waiting for the car to be built. Um, but yeah, so there's a few. What would make me proud or excited? Mm, I think the Porsche 918 Spider was quite an exciting project to deal with. It was really our first biggest piece of work,
Mm.
um, and Porsche are a great company. There's no taking away from it. They are truly are a great company, and they're incredibly helpful people. They want you to succeed. They want you to get things done, and they like to help and get it done. They're very organised most of the time, although sometimes their payments can be a bit of a trouble. My accounts lady was spitting feathers today about them because two lines in her invoice had been swapped around for some reason, and they wouldn't pay the bill because they didn't match what they had in their sausage machine. So
And apart from looking back, where do you hope to look forward? What do you hope that the next, not necessarily big thing, but where do you think are you looking forward to in the advancements of automotive and mechanical engineering going?
it's a good question, and the use of the electrical systems within the cars and how the cars will work. Last year, yeah, I think it. No, it was the year before 2020, 25, somewhere around, no, 24 and 24. There, we did a project with a company called Verne. It's a car company you've never heard of, as in Jules Verne, okay? And they're making a driverless car. It's a
Okay.
taxi, two-seater taxi. And they they had specific things, certainly the door movement and the way the seats moved, which are the two products that we worked on. And the doors they want to, because they want the car not to be sat out in traffic, and also opening a door into traffic is a problem. They
Mm.
wanted the doors to slide forward, which sounds simple, but the perceived quality of that movement and noise is you don't want it sounding like a transit van, basically,
Yeah.
and the doors wobbling. But they also didn't want the gap lines down the side of the car where a runner would be, so that they wanted all that changed in a way to do it. And they wanted an electric system, so the
Mm.
customer didn't have to do anything. And they wanted the seats to go from a normal sitting position to a lie flat bed. There's no steering wheel in this vehicle. There's nothing. There's just a big 42-inch widescreen television in the front and a bit of a windscreen that you can see over the top.
Oh wow.
So you can lie there or sit there and play a game, or transfer your phone to it, and you can watch a movie wherever you're going, and so
That would have been great on some of my nights out.
on. And that brings me to the very point. Well tipped up there. That was very good. So one of the things that this vehicle has is AI connected um, camera systems, exterior
Okay.
and interior. So if you get in the vehicle with a can of Coke and a banana, um, they expect you to get out of the car with a can of Coke and a banana, or a
Mm.
can of Coke and a banana skin, or a bag with that in it. But if they pick up that you've left any of those things inside the car, they charge your credit card immediately for a cleaning system.
Oh, that
So that was quite interesting. That was quite an interesting thing.
that does sound quite clever.
So that one of the other bigger ones, which is a bit boring, but it could be a system in probably in about 5 to 6 years, is we were working with a very large American parcel delivery company, and we were developing a system to deliver parcels faster for them, and they wanted to save 3 seconds per parcel delivered. Doesn't sound a lot, but
But I
when
guess it adds up.
they in America they deliver at Christmas time, they in 2 weeks, I think they deliver over 1 billion parcels.
Whoa.
So what they wanted to do is being able to deliver one parcel faster. So the premise of the invention is that the driver drives up to your house and stops outside your house. When he stops, the two doors behind him open and there's your parcel. He doesn't go in the back trying to rummage around trying to find it. It's delivered to him. He picks it up and goes and delivers it to your house. The next phase on from that is you the vehicle stops, and then drones, both on the roof, flying drones, and also three-legged, four-legged, and wheeled drones from underneath drive off and deliver parcels, and the driver delivers a parcel as well. So for one stop, you can probably deliver 25 parcels.
Oh my God.
So all of those things are delivered, using artificial intelligence. But the downstream from that, the coming up to that point, the complexity of doing that is massive.
I can
So
imagine.
so that's setting there. Yeah, it's a complicated progress.
So you think AI is going to play a big part in the next stage of automotive?
I think AI will always make a big impact. I think the impact of it for the workforce is going to be quite big. People also need to treat it with great care, because if you start putting stuff into AI, you've lost intellectual property. So it's gone. You can't recover it. And so if I said to you, Molly, I want to use AI to do this, and I'm going to put your name and your age and your date of birth and so on into AI, would you be happy about it?
Probably not.
Yeah. So why would you be happy about putting an invention or a piece of work that you've done into AI? Because once you put it in there, everybody else has got it, because it will bring it to other people.
Oh
So
yeah.
so it's you have to be a bit careful with it, and how you use it for. I think it's something like 70 odd percent of businesses are thinking about using AI, but only 17% of them actually use it. And of that 17%, about 90% only use it for market research.
Oh.
So it's not used for the things that people think it's being used for. It's only being used for very dull and repetitive things, or things where there is a lot of stuff already in the public domain. Where the impact will be is where you have low entry tasks in a workplace, and I'm particularly thinking about people who do admin work and things like that. That's where AI will start taking away those jobs from people, particularly younger people, because they're a lot cheaper. It's cheaper to run AI than it is to run a person. And that then gives you a void, another void that you have to jump over when you're starting your career. You have to be better than AI to be able to get your job and the next step on that rung of that ladder. So I think there's lots of things to come out of it, but there's also a lot of thought that people are having around it at the moment, and how it will impact the way that the workplace and work in itself actually is. For sure, using it in cars, using it in the ability to use large computing models to do things. But again, the challenges within a car we have a massive issue with cybersecurity with our components. So we have to protect our components because they've got electronics and they can be programmed and reprogrammed and so on. So we have to protect them from people doing things that they shouldn't do to it, including the customer. And that then gives a bit of a problem when you get things like the European Union saying that there must be the right to repair, because, well, I can't give you my code because it's my code. And secondly, if I did give you my code and you did something to it and then you hurt yourself, who's responsible?
That is a good point. So my final question is, going off of all of that, all of the potential challenges that things like AI could raise for young people, what would your advice be for young people looking to get into a similar automotive mechanical look? As you said, you left school at 15, and the path wasn't necessarily very straight. It was quite windy. What would you say to some younger engineers looking at doing this?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot, and the differentiator is those people who can show something which is different from the others. So if you think about, even us as a small company, when we put an application out for an apprentice to join us, and we get 60 or 70 applicants for that job, what's going to differentiate that your CV from all the other ones in that pile? Don't try and write it on a different color piece of paper or make it with flashy pictures all over it. That's not there. One page, one side of A4, and highlight the differences. What makes you different from anybody else? And that can be the sport you play, the way that you are a team player, the way that you did your D&V, the fact that you've traveled. And travel to me is one of the big things that does set other younger people apart from others, because in traveling, they've had to plan, communicate, overcome problems, budget, and understand that not everybody is going to be able to grasp what they're saying or talk to them or have the same cultural approach to whatever they're doing. And so that's a differentiator. And you can tell the people that have traveled are different. So there's that. Take it for granted all your competitors are going to have the same degree, better or worse. But to me, whether you've got a first class degree or a third, it's of minor interest. What's of interest is you as a person, because you're the person that's going to come and sit in my office and disrupt or add to my team. And so that is a very, very important part of it. I'll give you an example. We've got a young man who contacted HR here, and he was very persistent in as much as he wanted to understand what he could do to become an apprentice. He was only 15 years old. And so he's pushed, and he's been pushing for the past 18 months.
Wow.
So we're going to take him on as a degree apprentice, and he's got no competition because he took the initiative. He contacted us. He did all of that pre-work that we normally do. So that makes a bit of difference. He has a great personality. He's traveled. He understands what it's like to be different and have a plan and execute that plan. So yeah, he's looking very good from that point of view. So that's the sort of person we look for. So try and think of something that's going to be clear, that you can explain, that makes you stand out or different to somebody else.
Wow. Well, that's brilliant. And that was my last question.
Very good.
Rob, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a joy speaking to you today. And if you enjoyed this podcast, like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of them. Until next time, bye.
Take care. Thank you.